Hello.
Hey,
Yes.
Neil.
Hey, it worked, honey. You know what you're doing. Hey, look, they still have sunshine.
Can you hear us?
I can. Yes, it is sunshine.
Well,
It's dark here.
yeah, they're like on the left coast there, where it's all sunny and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. We are in the future. No, you're in the future.
We are in the
Yes.
future.
Yes.
Yes, you are 2 hours behind me.
No,
Right.
ahead.
So
Yes,
then
yeah,
you
no, you're right.
you can give me the
Honey.
football results.
What?
You can give me the football results, and I can place a bet.
Oh, okay. Apparently, Louisville is kicking ass.
Excellent.
Louisville.
I don't know.
It's Louisville, baby.
Louisville.
Louisville.
All right, so
That
Neil,
was the
how the
last
hell
one
are
I
you?
saw.
I'm good. I'm good. Very well.
Excellent.
All right, so
Excellent.
were you working today?
Yeah. Yeah. We actually. Let's see. We shot yesterday with William Kircher, who was the Biffa the Dwarf in The Hobbit, and he plays Cyrano in the Time War. This
Oh.
crazy, world ruler. And it was, I'd say it's a really good day, but it was a really hard day. And we had all these sets built and stuff. And then today I had to pull the sets down and clean up and everything. So I've got cuts all over my hands and everything.
Oh.
So it was a tough day, let me tell you. It's a tough
So
day.
you're a director that actually gets his hands dirty.
Yeah, sadly. Not always. I mean, yeah, but yes. Lately, yes.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Now, what movie are you working on currently? Can you say?
Well, we're in the middle of shooting the Time War, which is Adolf Hitler traveling through time, rewriting history.
You see, we heard about this, and I'm very excited to see this when it's
Yeah.
done.
It's brutal, though. It's a really brutal film.
Right.
It's not like it's not a walk in the park movie. It's not a feel good movie, nor is it a sort of a campy movie. I'd say it's the darkest film I've ever made. By a long
Okay.
so.
It's dark. That's an interesting concept.
Oh, it's dark. It's it's put people in hospital, and I'm not.
Oh.
It's the the acting. The situations within the acting kind of has traumatized quite a few people, and it's done horrible things. This is you guys are you guys into horror films at all?
I am not so much Redler. I haven't been able to see a horror film in forever because I can't find anybody to go with me.
Well, if you ever remember the movie The Omen,
I've heard of this movie.
yeah, it was a cursed film.
Yes.
I'm working on one of those right now, and I mean that we didn't set out for it to be a cursed movie, but it is. It's just got everything is messed up, and it just destroys people's lives when they get involved with it. So,
Wow.
but it's okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Cheers.
They're all actors.
Indeed.
They'll figure it out.
Indeed. So, what are you drinking there?
It's red wine.
Oh,
Red wine. Well, hey, it's still
Cheers.
alcoholic.
It's horrible.
see, I feel the same way about all red wine.
There's
I'm not a wine drinker.
there's some good ones. I don't drink a lot, but the red wine is probably the healthiest
Mhm.
apparently. But what do I know?
Now,
That's what they say.
I was looking
I think
on your
it's
Twitter
the red
feed.
wine industry propaganda, personally.
That
But
could be.
Yeah, I'd be up for any free wine if somebody wants to get handed out.
Now, I was looking at your Twitter feed earlier today, and I noticed, you almost look like a different person from the last time we briefly spoke to you with Tracy. Your hair was like completely
Did we talk
different.
with Tracy?
Yeah, he was
Oh.
on the last 5 minutes.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah. Is it curlier now? What's
Yeah, no,
different?
Well, I think you had it pulled back last time, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It was very straight and almost looked wet, like you just jumped out of
Yeah.
the shower and combed it or
That's-
something.
Probably was wet. I'll be honest with you.
Now,
Fair enough.
Now you mentioned William Kircher. Now, who else is in this film?
Well, obviously there's Tracy Birdsall, who's this
Who we love?
Absolutely love her.
this actress chick, and she's really, I pushed this woman so hard, and I think she doesn't like me anymore, but it's okay. It's okay. Who else have we got? Oh, yeah, okay. So the other week, we got this wonderful guy called Daniel Logan, who was, if you ever see Star Wars Episode 2, Boba Fett, well, he was Boba Fett, the young Boba Fett.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, he's such a sweet guy. And you know what? He's actually a really good actor as well. You deal sometimes with famous actors, former child stars. I've met quite a few. And
I would imagine. Some
of them are pretty much nut jobs, shall we say. And I got stories to tell, let me tell you. But he's not. He's gone through his crazy stuff, his crazy period of everything. And he's grown up, and he's really a nice guy. And I've known him in not every phase of his life, but I've seen him quite a few times. I actually got him and Ray Park, who played Darth Maul, I got them into the Affliction to get some free swag once. So I live in amongst these nice people. But, he's a really nice kid. He's such a nice guy. And it was wonderful to work with. And he and Tracy were like, on camera together. It was wonderful. Who else have we got? We got Stephen Manley, who was young Mr. Spock on Star Trek 3.
Nice.
I think he suffered the most from this movie. It's hard work. He's playing Adolf Hitler. Man, it messes.
Oh, that I can imagine what he's going through.
He's really it's taken a big toll on him. But he's such a nice guy. I love him to death. I wish I saw him every day. He's one of those people you want around every day.
Gotcha.
It's like the younger brother you wish you could have, Who else is in this movie? Oh, yeah. Okay, so we just shot a little bit with a guy called Chris Showerman. Now, he was in Georgia the Jungle 2. He was actually Jungle in the sequel. Plus, he's done a bunch of other stuff, and we met him before, and he's a really nice guy, and I keep forgetting he's an actor, and because he's done so many other things in the movie industry, in the sense like he's a producer as well, and he's such a good actor, and we just rang him up, said, look, you got the scene with William Kircher, can you come? Are you free? We knew he had jury duty. He said, I'll sneak in before jury duty and do the scene with William Kircher. So, it's nice when you get these great actors around and they just bounce off each other beautifully. And how to explain it? William just called me aside after and said, he's a really good actor. I said, yeah, thank God, because you never know. And he's an amazing actor. So I actually started rewriting some of his scenes that we're shooting next week because, he's got such a good talent that I want to change it, so he's amazing. So I expect something good coming out of him as well. And he's just got in a movie. He's in a movie that's just hit Sundance, and he's the lead in that as well. So he's doing stuff acting wise. So it's great. I'm trying to think who else we've got. We've got Aaron Jacques, who plays Jesus Christ.
Excellent.
So we've got Hitler and Jesus in this movie, but I can't talk about that just yet.
Okay.
And Christopher Lee, who has passed away sadly, and I worked with him in 2010, and he did a voiceover for this movie because this movie I wrote in '95, and
wow,
I know. I knew I was going to do it eventually, so I said, Mr. Lee, would you be kind enough to do this voiceover? He says, of course, you've got my money.
Nice.
But no, he's a really nice guy. And sadly, he passed away. He was Count Dooku in Star Wars Episode 2 as well.
Okay, I know what that is.
Yeah, he was Dracula, he was the evil wizard in Lord of the Rings. So,
you say his name is familiar.
Oh, yeah, he's done more movies than anyone else on the planet. And he actually had time. He was alive during World War II and killed Nazis.
Oh, wow.
So it's great that he actually now plays a Nazi in this.
Life comes full circle, right?
Yeah, no, he'd be very proud. He's I want to give, he did me a big favor, and I want to make sure that his last movie credit ever is something that he would be actually consider kind of cool, because in the beings, he was knighted Sir Christopher Lee. Yes, he got all these awards and blah blah blah, but you know, he was a nice guy to me, and we shared a lot of private jokes, and you know, good moments. And I want to give him the best send off he's ever had. You know, so I'll do my best.
Excellent. No, that's a good thing to do. I mean, obviously you want to honor him, and
Yeah.
no, that's awesome.
Now,
Very
here's a
cool.
question I've been kind of wanting to ask, and it's obviously we've asked, you know, bands why they get into music. Now, why did you decide to be, you know, a director or you know, a producer? I'm not sure what the difference is, honestly.
Well, yeah, that's a tough one. I wanted to be a direct. Well, I was a director since I was born, I guess. But you know, I've see now. Here's a funny story. You know, growing up as a boy, you think, what am I going to be? Should I be a police officer, a fireman?
Right.
You know, should I own a strip club, or should I be a film director? And
Those
I
are
decided,
very good choices.
well, I decided to be a film director. But you know, you don't think you can do it.
Uh-huh.
But then you start doing it anyway, and all of a sudden it catches on. So, you know, what I do, I mean, I play producer because there's not a lot of good producers on this planet, you know, and that's an art form in itself. And I love the art form of being a producer. And producer's the person who kind of puts it all together and does the deals, you know.
Okay.
And kind of talks the talk and makes things happen. And, you know, the director should just turn up and rub his chin and be artistic. That's the traditional way. But, you know, it's a film business, and you have to kind of run things accordingly. So let's see. I was 16. I started directing little music videos and stuff. And obviously I shot film as a young boy. I love cameras. And I got into film school. And I realized nobody liked me in film school because I was nice and different.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, that's okay because I got a job. And I started working in the film industry, and I was out having to do movies all by myself. So I became a director and a camera operator and a producer and a script writer. And most of the stuff I did was complete crap, but it's okay because you got to learn. So I was on television as well as a young boy, and I do all these things, but you're still sitting there thinking, okay, at the age of 21, I became a paid director. Somebody actually paid me to be a director at a TV station. And that was not
cool.
Well, it was cool, but you know, then it's like you want to make a living and this and that. You want to direct stuff you want to do, and you want to have big budgets. And I started doing music videos.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I wanted to do a lot of music videos for all these famous heavy metal bands was because I liked the bands, and I liked singing. So there was a point where I said, you know, I cheated on my first love of directing, and I said I'm going to be a heavy metal musician. And I tried that for a time, and it came too easy. I mean, my first album came out, and I was the second best-selling artist on the record label. And it was a small label, let's be honest.
Right.
5,000 to 10,000 units is not a lot back then, but, you know, that's what I sold, and it was okay. But it was kind of like, well, if I walk down this path, I'm just going to be this person. But I can't cheat on my first love. So I said, you know, after doing a few CDs, I mean, I was directing full time anyway, so this was a sideline. I said I can't cheat on my first love. I have to stick with directing. So I just hunkered down and stuck with directing, and then I, you know, obviously worked with some more famous bands directing their stuff. So I got to live through them, you know, the music industry, and got to see how life was on their side of things. And now it's all I do is direct and make my own product, which sounds such a dream, but let me tell you, I would do anything to have a day job. Because it's 7 days a week, you know?
Oh yeah, because you never stop doing what you need to do to get the film done. It's constantly, okay, what's the next step I need to do? Where's this money coming from? Where's this production coming from? So I can kind of get that. It's nonstop hustling, basically. Not to put hustling in a bad term, but, you know, making something happen.
It is, and it's a tough situation because, you know, this is what really upsets me. I mean, I meet people all the time, and we're all guilty of this, by the way. You know, people will download the movie and say, well, oh, hey, I just watched your movie on YouTube or somewhere else, and it's like, really? Or you get fan mail from somebody from Nigeria or India or Sweden, or hate mail usually. saying, "Oh, why didn't you spend more money on the movie? What's up with Hollywood?" And it's like the people steal your movie online.
Yes.
They download it for free, and then they
Yes.
complain to you about why it's so bad and why you didn't have enough money to make the movie.
Yes.
Like, you guys are the problem. They
Yes.
don't think they have a right to do this. And it's like, dude, if I broke into your house and stole your television, you'd be really angry. But you've just broken into my house and stolen a piece of art that I spent 2 years making and thrown it on the internet and shown it to your friends for free. And it's like, that's not fair, because there was a time when, you could buy a physical piece of media and it was tangible. And you paid money for that,
Yes.
And if you buy a piece of my physical media on the shelf, usually I get nothing. Maybe I'll get $1,
Wow.
Oh, you're lucky if you get $1.
Yeah, well, you have to fight for everything,
Yeah.
And that's the world. So it's like a form of prostitution, You kind of have to you have to go through these little hoops. It's like being a musician. You have to perform for the people and just hope they might give you a bit of money. Maybe they'll buy a CD. Bands that once sold 100,000 units, they're lucky if they sell 1,000 now.
Yes.
And it's funny. I read about like U2. I did a music video for them years ago. But I read about they've got the new single just came out, and it hit the charts. They got 5,000 downloads, paid downloads for their new single. 5,000? That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? That's what you need to get on the charts? I thought, my God, I can buy my way into charts if I download my music and pay for it 5,000 times.
Right. So, yeah, basically you pay $5,000 to get on the charts.
But it's terrible. This is U2. People aren't paying money for them. Yeah, they'll go to the concert, of course.
Well, apparently they're not going to the St. Louis concert.
No, I heard about that. They canceled that. It's kind of sad.
I don't blame them, because that whole cop being acquitted and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, is that what's going on? Sorry, I've been locked away.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Apparently, a cop shot some black guy. White cop shot a black guy, got acquitted because he did a judge trial rather than a jury trial. So the judge is like, the state didn't prove their case, so he got acquitted.
Yeah, having been once falsely arrested in my life. Sorry, twice. No, actually.
4 times.
Yeah, no, but it really was false arrest. The cops have a tough job, but
They do.
They were apologetic to me, and I got an apology from so many people. But I don't know what's going on. There's all this talk about cops shooting people, but like they kind of sniff something out sometimes. I think they kind of have an instinct, and you've got to present a respectful front to these people. They got a tough job. I'm not saying there's bad eggs in the
absolutely. There's bad people in every industry. You're going to come across it, but it's
the worst ones I've ever come across are actually in Australia. I have to say,
the worst what?
The worst cops in the world.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not saying this for any other reason. It's just they're so far up their own. It's unbelievable.
Really?
Oh my goodness, they're just horrible, horrible. And I know they've got a tough job, but they've got this ego problem, like the size of a planet. It's like they're just cops, Don't be so full of yourself. The U.S. cops are actually much nicer, in my opinion.
Huh?
The cops in Slovenia. The cops in let's see, Bulgaria. You yell at them, and you say, you have to yell at them, and they let you go.
That's really cool.
Honey, we need to go to Bulgaria and remember this, because we're stupid.
Yeah.
And okay.
So
All right, so Neil, wow, that
sorry,
that was
it's a tangent.
information.
That's all right.
It's a tangent.
We like tangents. We go off on them every night.
Indeed. But no, you've actually covered so much information in that one question, and it's like I have like 15 follow-up, and it's like, where to go? No, so it's like I actually just tweeted that you're a really cool dude. You've been on a record label as the second best act, as you say, and you've directed YouTube videos. I mean, to meet those guys would just would have to be. I mean, do you get awe-inspired on the people that you direct at all?
Yeah, yeah, I do. The nicest thing, I had a few of my favorite singers on the planet, and one of them was Eric Adams from Manowar, who was this amazing singer. And I've probably done more Manowar music videos than anyone else on the planet, which is nice. And I've hung out with them and probably know them as, they're great people. So, but, I was meeting famous people as a young guy because I was a director at a very young age. So it didn't faze me. The U2 thing didn't faze me because I was probably too young to realize how cool it was.
Right.
And they weren't that big back then, so,
Yeah, you two kind of had that big thing in the late 80s, early 90s. They became this really big, iconic band.
Yeah.
During that period, especially like Joshua Tree.
Yeah, well, I'm back before then, so that's when.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So, but there's more interesting, more famous people. I've had a good connection with as well. But when you realize they're just people, every single day of your life, you can, I live in Los Angeles at the moment.
Right.
You can spit and there's a famous person there.
Right.
And usually they're in the ice cream aisle of the local. But you see, it's funny. They look at you and think, "Who is that? Is he somebody famous?" And it's like, no. I look at them as, "Is that somebody famous?" Oh, and then sometimes you have run-ins with these people too because they're a little crazy.
Little.
See, I shouldn't name drop. Okay, so Jack Nicholson lives nearby. Okay.
Okay.
Now I don't know his mental state. I don't get it. Okay, I don't know what. I think he's probably a really nice guy, but certain person I know. I was a young driver, shall we say, and she was driving, and he was not liking the fact that she was driving maybe too slow, and chased her up the street in his, I think it was a Maserati or something like that, one of those black fancy sports car thingies, and chased her around, was being all violent and abusive in the car. And
I could see him doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, but, and then was hanging her out outside the house for a bit. It was like all crazy and stuff. And you think, I have nothing against the guy. I'm sure he's amazing, but maybe there's a reason he's been off movies for a while. Maybe he has his moments where he just can't control his anger, And was it really him? I don't know.
Right.
Was it who looked like him, who was maybe on drugs, looks just like Jack Nicholson?
Entirely possible.
Who knows? But I know he lives close by. As an example, but. So you just kind of watch your back a little bit in the sense of, there are famous people, but there's also crazy famous people.
Well, and honestly, I can't imagine that being in the industry and being as famous as Jack Nicholson has or other famous actors, I can't imagine that it not playing a role in some kind of, ego eccentricism, having an effect on your mental capacity. I mean, seriously.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it has to. I mean, you're playing different characters, you're getting involved in these different roles, and then now you're out in society trying to live your life, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're amazing!" And so I can't, I can imagine having that effect on your mental stability.
That would explain Justin Bieber, I guess.
No, he's just a fucking idiot that needs to go back to Canada and go crawl under a rock.
He just needs to become a human being, I think.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I think he's been pushed by his mom too much.
Give him 10 years and he's going to be so humble.
Hopefully. I really hope so.
Yeah. The Jesus thing, not buying it. Not buying it.
Nope.
Broken every rule of Christianity pulling that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, come on. But on Jack Nicholson, I mean, it may not have been him, by the way. But I mean, it was like spitting image of him, so you just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, every famous person has that doppelganger out there, and it could have been like his stunt double or something, Yeah,
it was just some guy who just, it's an easy look to have, the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, looking back on your career to date, do you have one project that you liked or had the most fun, or you thought do you have a favorite project that you have done over the years, whether it be a music video or a movie or whatever, or even a recording deal or whatever?
Oh boy, there's too many. This is the problem. there's some things I'm really fond of. You know, but doesn't necessarily mean they're my best piece of work. You know, a couple of the Manowar music videos hit #1, and they're by far not my best piece of work at all. I'm sort of fond of those because of the fact that they punch through, you know, some big things in life. For them, not for me. I do have a film called Doomsday, or Death Machine, depending on whatever it's called, which is a movie I made in 2012, and my best friend died, you know, when I was on the eve of making that movie. So,
Oh wow.
you know, and I had no money, and I was broke, and I had to change my visa, so I couldn't enter the US, so I was stuck in England, and so I decided to make a movie, and I had nothing, and I mean, I was stealing food to survive. I hate to say it, because all my accounts were frozen and everything, you know. So,
Oh wow.
my immigration status, which is sorted out now with a lot of money, but you know,
Yeah, that's usually what they want, just some money.
yeah, pretty much. I hate to say it, but it was a really down time in my life, you know. My dad was sick at the time; he's passed away since. So I made this movie, and you know, I got some actors together, and they're all really nice people. Made the film, and you know, it's my least. It's one movie that has made the least amount of money. Barely pulled even. Actually, it hasn't pulled even. Well, it has pulled even just by a bit. But it's one of my best reviewed films. And strangely, all those actors, they all hate me now. And I don't know if I did this or not. There's a couple of they like it.
I don't think they hate you.
No, trust me.
Oh, they do? Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
You're dealing with egos and gossip and rubbish. But you know, they can't take that. You know, they can't take that away. They all performed very well in the film, and they did me a great. They were there at a great time in my life, and you know, nothing pulls you down from that. And then, but see, now you counter that with a film called Rogue Warrior, which I've just done recently, which, you know, we had Tracy Birdsall in it, and I thought, oh, here we go, we're going to get hated as per usual. I'm going to be the worst person on the planet by the press and everyone, and it's actually gone really well. We are actually still 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb after 1,000 votes.
Excellent.
Which is nice because, you know, my other movies don't do so well. So I have to equate that. That'll probably be that movie that becomes that shining beacon. But I have to equate that to pretty much it's all Tracy Birdsall because she's such a good actress that she allowed me to push her to the point where I got what I wanted, and she got a great performance. But I would say in reality, probably The Time War is going to be the film. Because I just let my brain go into weird places.
Now this one actually sounds really good, and you know, both the Queen and I are definitely looking forward to seeing the finished product.
Man, it's brutal, and I mean, when I say brutal, there's nothing. I've just scratched the surface of how dark my brain gets, but I mean, it's the starting of something really dark inside my soul. But you know, it's like an exorcism. You purge it through your. You know, people are going to think I'm a really messed up human being. I'm not. I'm a really nice guy, and I'm very normal. But when you watch the movie, you're not going to get the impression that I'm a nice human being. You're going to think I'm I'm going to be the object of a witch hunt or something. You know, and you know, the movie even deals with things like incest and stuff, and you know, which I'm you know, it's not my thing, obviously, but you know, I have a daughter, you know, and I mean, nothing. We've got a very good, healthy relationship. My relationship with my father was healthy before he passed away. All my family, we're all nice human beings. I don't have a messed up past, or I have a little bit of a darkness there. But you know, early days of you know, a neighbor doing sexual things between the ages of 6 and 10. But then you learn to become violent and fight these people, and at the age of 10 you have to become strong, and that's part of growing up. So I'd even embrace that. But I don't know what I was drawing upon, but I just draw upon these dark things, and this movie came out of me, and I dared to go there in these places. So you know, you're going to see something, and I did it for myself.
Excellent.
You know, it's born out of a fact of I've done these big movies. It's cost me millions of dollars. I've got no money left. All I want to do is make a great piece of art, and you know, it's it's a shocking situation to be in, yet it's the most liberating thing because you think, okay, I'm not a hit director, I'm not famous, I'm not wealthy, I'm nothing, but I've taken everything I have left in my soul and I made this movie, and people are gonna like it or hate it. I don't care because I like it.
And that's just it. That's definitely something I've actually been learning over the last few years. It's, you know what, find your passion, no matter what it takes, and live it. Just do it, and whatever it is, no matter the sacrifices. Don't make money on it, fine, whatever, But that's awesome that you believe in this movie so much.
Oh God, yes. Oh, completely. And I'm a big Star Wars fan. And I thought I should be doing a movie that will get me the directing job of Star Wars Episode 10, 11, or 12. But I did this. Disney won't want to touch me after this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably not.
Sure.
Well, actually, mind you, there was rumors that Walt Disney himself was a supporter of the Nazi Party. I don't know if that's true. But
I think they just like to make up rumors about good people just to make up rumors about good people.
Exactly. The rumors about me are not true, let me tell you.
All right, all the rumors about you are not true. Got it.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, everybody, we have been talking to Neil Johnson, director of his most recent movie that is out is Rogue Warrior, Robot Fighter, and he is currently making a movie we are definitely interested in seeing called Time War. Be sure to check for it when it comes out. It sounds awesome. And
I'm very excited to see because it's definitely up my alley.
Oh yeah.
No, it really is.
Yeah, maybe the most hated person on the planet, but you'll love it, I'm sure.
No,
I'm excited because I love time. I love time travel movies. I love anything to do with Hitler and just different aspects of it. Because honestly, I'm very fascinated by how this one person was able to convert a whole country. There's actually a book I read, and honestly, I can't remember the name of it, but basically, it was about a time traveler. Hitler developed this time traveling thing, and one of his guys was going into the future and trying to change the future of this one woman he had fallen in love with. And it's a Dean Koontz movie, but or book, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was awesome. It's it's definitely something I'm very interested in.
Oh yeah, no, this will take you on a journey.
Well,
excellent.
Somewhere down the road, Neil, we would love to have you back because obviously there was a lot of stuff that you didn't cover that I think you probably wanted to, and we would love to have you back at some point to discuss some of those things.
Oh, anytime. I'm always happy to chat. It makes me happy.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And then
awesome.
we'll definitely want to know where we can definitely watch this new movie you got in the makes. We'll pay for it because we want to support you. But just let us where we can watch it, get it, whatever we need to do, because we're very interested in seeing this one. And I'm interested in seeing in the Road Warrior because that just sounds like an awesome movie.
Yeah, it will. Watch it the second time, and you'll go, oh wow, there's a lot in it. There's a reason why it's my best rated movie and becoming my most loved movie. I can't say that yet because it hasn't been years, but
yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
Neil, if there's one more thing you could do for us before we cut you loose, if you could just say who you are and that you are listening to Hellcast Radio.
Okay. I'm director Neil Johnson. I crucified Adolf Hitler, and you're listening to Hellcast Radio.
Oh, that's awesome!
Love it.
Oh,
love
sir,
it.
That's
my new ringtone.
Indeed. You have been an absolute pleasure to speak with tonight, and we cannot wait to talk to you in the future, sir.
My pleasure. Look forward to it.
Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.